Hello, guys. My name is Paul. Welcome back to the basketball show. I want to talk about Kevin Durant today. Kevin Durant, the two-time NBA champion, the Slim Reaper, as they call him. You Google his name, and Google tells you he's regarded as one of the greatest players in NBA history. He's got two NBA titles, MVPs, Finals MVPs, two All-Star MVPs, and I think four scoring titles, if I'm not mistaken. I could keep going, but I'm not going to. But let me just get straight to the point. KD made some stupid damn comments a few days ago, and I just had to make a video to address them. The comments were about playing in New York, and I'll get to them in just 1 minute, but I have to say this before. KD, as I said, is a great player. He's a great shooter. He came back from a terrible Achilles tear that not many players were able to come back from to the level that he did. That's all positives for him. But I think a lot of his major accomplishments in his career are kind of, well, fake. He had really good players and a good team in OKC. He couldn't deliver a title. He had a good team in Brooklyn. He couldn't deliver a title. He has a good team in Phoenix, and he can't deliver a title. The only time he got two titles is when he joined the team that was kicking his butt, that was championship ready without him, and won before him. Now, if you're saying he got the Finals MVPs while playing for that team, well, you're correct. But how hard is it for a player of his caliber to get a Finals MVP on a team with so many great shooters like Clay and Steph that open up the floor for you? Not that hard, correct? But we're not talking about this. I want to talk about what KD said a few days ago that I mentioned in the beginning of this video. I want you to listen to these comments, and I wonder what your feelings are about this. I'm a New York Knicks fan, and I keep saying that, and I have been since the early 90s. I never switched. The Knicks sucked for so many years, and I never switched. But listen to KD, and I'll be right back with you.
Told me today, four-time Super Bowl champion, he said his pressure's through the roof. He's going to this market. He's got to be the wide receiver one. He's got, do you have anything to say about the New York market when it comes to this? Is it really different than anywhere else?
No, New York market is all just people like who haven't played in New York talk about the New York market. Like once you play in New York, you realize that it's not as scary as you think. Once you win it, people just like anywhere else, you're gonna get criticized if you don't play well, and they're gonna love you when you win. So just win. You know what I'm saying? It's that simple with New York. And if you come to play, people appreciate the work that you put in on the field. You know, and Devontae is one of those workers who's gonna come to work, do his job. So I think he's gonna get a lot of love there.
Yeah.
And if they win football games, it's just gonna, it's gonna be bigger than what it was in Vegas. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm excited.
Well, Kevin Durant was talking about football. It was addressed, playing in New York was addressed during a conversation about football. He was also talking and trying to share his experience of playing in New York. He believes in his mind that while he chickened out from playing for the New York Knicks and went to Brooklyn, that's exactly the same thing. That's what KD thinks. And he did chicken out. And to prove it, I'll show you a quick statement by Fat Joe, a good friend of Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. And Fat Joe scolded both of them for being scared to come to play for the real New York team, the Knicks. Here's Fat Joe's comments for context.
You got to understand a lot of players, and I'll call them out. Kyrie, Durant, they didn't want that New York Knicks pressure. They didn't want that media attention. They didn't want Sports Illustrated being right in the backyard. They didn't want that, so they said, all right, we want New York, but let's do the lesser of the the drama. Let's go to Brooklyn. They didn't want to stand there. So Melo, whether he won or he didn't, you got to understand, he came to New York and all the blame was going on him every day, every day, every day. He was taking the blame for everybody. I mean, of course he deserves a farewell. I mean, it's Melo.
Is that a shot at Kyrie and KD?
It definitely was, and those are my good friends. They didn't want that smoke. They didn't want to be on the Knicks and be on the back of the Daily News, the back of the Post. They didn't want that smoke. They didn't want it. I'm telling you, they didn't want it. They didn't want to come to the Garden. And then now you got to answer for things.
Now, KD played for Brooklyn. He played a total of 90 games for them during the seasons that he was there. A total of 90 games. Now, answer me this. Who the heck cares about the Brooklyn Nets in New York? What team is the real New York team? While KD and Brooklyn was playing in the playoff semifinals, they could not even get on the front page of the paper because the Knicks, who didn't even make the semis, were still the talk of the town of what's going on with the team and how the roster is going to be changed. That was more important than the Nets playing Milwaukee in semis. That's what was on the front pages and the back pages of the papers, not the Nets. Brooklyn doesn't matter in New York. There is not as much pressure on Brooklyn in New York. There's no history there to live up to in Brooklyn like the Knicks have. KD talks in that video like playing in New York is nothing. Look at his faces, his expression. Well, I agree with him. When you play for the second-rate team, he was afraid to play for the Knicks and take on that pressure and scrutiny. And now he's trying to seem like, an experienced, hard-nosed New York ball player. Get the heck out of here, KD. You wanted to play in New York, but were never able to take the spotlight in New York for the Knicks and take that challenge on. That was the real New York challenge, not a freshly moved Brooklyn Nets. You just couldn't do it. You do not have the cojones to play for the Knicks and have no clue about any of the pressure a true New York ball player faces. Damn, I'm not a fan of Melo's, as he didn't achieve much with the Knicks, but I respect him. I respect him for doing what he could for a few years in New York and dealing well with that. Playing for the Knicks. He can talk about that New York pressure and playing in New York. Melo is way more of an authority about playing in New York and being a cornerstone of a top New York team than Knicks, the true New York team. KD is, in fact, the fake expert, playing as he actually did something in New York. Now, make sure to watch my LeBron disqualified from being the GOAT and Tim Hardaway saying today's NBA players lack basketball IQ, which I agree with.